Haley, you coming? Good morning. How's everybody today? Danny. It is too. It's 9:59. Well, we're just gonna have to wait.
Brable, are we live online? Okay. We'll start early. I do want to just say I found out we're doing Transgender Day of Remembrance today, right? And we have an affiliation with a very talented musician. Her name's Jody Friend. She's the leader of Public Universal Friend. Used to be here from Indianapolis, but they have moved away. And so I asked Jody if I could do a couple of their songs, and we got the blessing. So here we go. I said I'll see you on a Sunday morning. You said you'd see me in hell. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference these days. I guess it's just as well. In that book it is also written, what you seek you shall find. Maybe hell and heaven aren't places like that. Maybe it's all a state of mind. Isn't hatred just a sickness, turning back into itself? They said I'm an abomination. I guess I'll see you in hell. I grew up thinking there were these people who had just gone off some kind of deep end. But by the time it was all served back to me, those people had become my friends. Jesus died with sluts and bastards. Jesus died with houseless thieves. Jesus died with the unwanted. Do you think Jesus died with me? Isn't hatred just an ignorance, turning back into itself? They said I'm an abomination. I guess I'll see you all in hell. Isn't hatred just an ignorance, turning back into itself? People look at their appearance. Love looks at our heart. Love looks at our heart. People look at our appearance. Love looks at our heart.
Let's try this again. Good morning. After we do our opening and our greeting, if you would like to color a picture today, there's different pictures of the tables. There are clipboards at seats. We're gonna put them all into a book together. So I think Jacob and I would both really appreciate it if people would color some today. At the church within, we breathe. We breathe to connect to ourselves. We breathe to connect to each other. And we breathe to connect to Source. We breathe together to arrive in this moment and allow soul to catch up with body. We light a flame to remind us of something inside of us, something eternal, something we call the light. Sometimes our light seems dimmed, and that is when we need to be together the most to rekindle our flame. Sometimes it is kindled by being with others, but sometimes it is kindled by what we share with others. Let's take another breath together. Let's take another breath and feel it deep in your belly. Expand your diaphragm, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Our breath is a conduit that allows us to connect to each other, but also to allow the flame inside of us to remain lit. Human experience revolves around breathing, and sometimes the lack of breathing. Human experience, our experience, relies first and foremost on our breath to keep our flame kindled. On this day, we are focusing our breath on the Trans Day of Remembrance and those whose flames are no longer kindled, and those who ever thought about extinguishing their flame. On this day, we remember those who felt they could not breathe to keep a flame kindled, and we breathe to connect to those we can still help. With you, I promise to continue to fight for those who want to extinguish their flame solely because of who they are and how our society is choosing to treat them. I will breathe for those who are having trouble and continue to fan their flame. I will keep sacred the experience of others in a way that honors and respects those experiences, even though I cannot know what that experience was like. As we move into our time of greeting, I want us to think about this quote from The Blood Runs Through the Veins by Michael Atwood Mason. The experience of another person is always inaccessible. We cannot completely know the experience of another person. We can only understand the expression of that experience. And with that, I ask that you respect those that remain seated who may not be in a place of greeting. That means if someone is sitting, please don't approach them. If someone has a red circle on their name tag, do not touch them. This is a boundary that a community member has set, and we owe it to them to respect that boundary. I will be sitting off to the side here, and you can join me if you don't want to greet others as well.
also moved to Portland for a while, so it's a good town to move to. Very beautiful out there. Right, yeah, no, I understand. Rooted. I'm rooted here. Yeah, but like, it kind of sucks. No, the reason I moved back was because of the people, you know? Yeah.
Thanks, Danny. I almost missed my cue. Announcement time. I know that there's lots of people with announcements. Who would like to go first? Brable.
Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
To whoever has the lockbox key for the keys in the lockbox, please return it to the tech booth or to the lockbox. And my second announcement, there is a black iPhone 11 with an unverified Apple ID on the Verizon network. To whoever's phone this is, please come collect it.
Brable,
That is all.
Is that the phone that's been sitting at the front for a couple weeks?
Yes.
Okay. We've had it for probably a month. So if anybody has any ideas if somebody lost a phone. Other announcements. Linda. Linda.
I'm not loud enough.
Your voice doesn't make it to the internet,
Yeah,
Linda.
I've never. Okay. Never been accused of not being loud enough. I'm here on behalf of Jane as Kirchhoff as well. We volunteered for the program where we take the angel tree and we help kids from Concord, and we have 8 kids this year. A lot of them have aged out. We have 8 kids, and we'll get the information on them soon. And we should have it next week. I think we'll have it by Sunday next week. I would suggest instead of, if you want to, since we only have 8, if we wanted to double up and have a couple of people take a kid. And so we can get maybe a little bit more and think outside the box instead of just a gift card, which seems kind of, they'll put gift cards down there, but you can look at the age and maybe find something besides a gift card, although, you know, we all like those, to give to. And so I just encourage, you'll see that next Sunday. If you're not here, let Jane or I know that you're either taking someone alone or taking someone as a couple. Yes?
Maybe you already said it. It's still a $25 target.
You know, I do not know, but I think so. And so I figure, what?
I read somewhere, maybe in the newsletter, that it was 50 max.
Yeah, 50 sounds better. I remember last year 50 max. And yeah. And if you can do a little bit more than that because of what you need to get. Some of those older guys and gals, you know, they might need a jacket or something. And so, okay, that's all I had to say.
Good morning. Just a quick reminder that we've moved the queer spirituality conversation group to the 4th Sunday. It used to be the 1st. So I think the 4th is next week. So we meet pretty much right after service here. And it's just kind of a casual chat of whatever's on our minds or yeah, whatever's going on. So join us if you feel so inclined. We probably won't do one in December, I'm thinking. So join us next week, and then we'll reconvene in January.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Nope. Okay, we're going to move into a time of music with Danny and then meditation with Heather. Oh, the youth can depart for Youth Sangha. That's you.
I'll walk you home, you know the way, but I don't. I laughed, you came, you said my name, now you don't. You make me cry, we both know why. If only you were ever here to know it. If this isn't living, then I don't know what it is. What the hell is happening to me? I must be getting brave. I let it go, you pretended to know what it's all about now. I was happy then to be wanted for something I'd never be. Must be something in my upbringing. Ain't that what it's always about? If this isn't living, then I don't know what it is. What the hell is happening to me? If this isn't living, then I don't know what it is. What the hell is happening to me? I must be getting, I must be getting, I must be getting brave.
Good morning. At the sanctuary, we meditate. We meditate so that we might find a path back to source, to quiet our minds and remember our interconnectedness. So at this time, I invite you to find a comfortable position, whatever that means to you in your body today. And if you feel safe and comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. If you prefer, you can find somewhere to rest your gaze. We'll just begin by noticing the breath. It's completely normal as we begin meditation to notice our thoughts, remembering that the practice of mindfulness and meditation is not a quiet mind, but simply the practice of acknowledging those thoughts, labeling them thinking, and imagining those thoughts floating away like a feather in the wind or a leaf on a stream. So as we go about our meditation today, just catch those thoughts when you can. Say, thinking, and imagine that thought floating away like a feather in the wind or a leaf on a stream. We can build a deeper connection to our breath if we place a hand wherever we feel our breath the most. So that might be your chest or your belly. Taking a moment just to notice this new information about our breath based on the rise and the fall of your hand. I'll guide you to take a few deep breaths together on purpose, but I encourage you to listen to your body and go at your own pace as needed. So on your next inhale, filling your belly as full as you can get, like a big balloon, really expanding, and then exhaling all at once. Breathing in, expanding, filling the air all the way into your chest, and then let it all go at once. Really squeezing it out at the end. One more time. Maybe sighing it out. Letting your breathing return to normal. And just noticing any shifts or changes in your body or breath after those deep belly breaths. You can leave your hand wherever you placed it or return it to your lap or side. I'll invite you just to follow me through a light body scan to help us quiet the mind by reconnecting to our bodies and our hearts. So as you breathe in and out, noticing your feet, bringing awareness to your lower legs and knees, up into your thighs and hips, noticing as you do any areas of tension or pain, and as you inhale, sending relaxation, permission to release, and as you exhale, letting go of any resistance. Continuing to breathe in and out, moving your awareness up into the belly, in the back, to your shoulders, arms, and hands. Noticing as you do any areas of tension or pain. And as you inhale, sending relaxation and permission to release. And as you exhale, letting go of any resistance. Continuing to breathe in and out. Moving your awareness into the neck, the back of the head, and around into your face, noticing if you're squinting or clenching your jaw. And as you inhale, sending relaxation and permission to release. And as you exhale, letting go of any resistance. Scanning now from the top of your head back down through to the bottom of your feet. Practicing curiosity about any areas that still feel tense, tingly, wiggly. Inviting a conversation with your body about what those areas might be trying to tell you. Engaging in this practice helps us build empathy. Empathy and curiosity are deeply necessary in our world. We have to start by practicing those skills with ourselves. So use this moment, this brief moment this morning, just to reconnect with a sense of openness, empathy, compassion for what's happening in your body today. So that as we go about the rest of our morning, engaging in remembrance on this Trans Day of Remembrance, that we might have more capacity to open our hearts and minds and give empathy and compassion to others. Taking a few moments just to let that empathy sink in. You might place a hand on your chest and choose a color for empathy. Imagining as you inhale, you are drawing that empathy into your body. And as you exhale, imagine that color for empathy leaving your body and going to the others in this room, in our community, and the world. Breathing in empathy for yourself. Exhaling empathy for others. Inhaling and exhaling. As we close our meditation today, I invite you just to find one small, tender place in your body to give one last extra dose of empathy to yourself before we spend the rest of our morning trying to give it to others. Maybe choosing a word or a mantra to remind you of this practice, that this moment that you carved out to take with you in the rest of your day and week. On your next inhale, giving it somewhere safe to live in your body. And as you exhale, letting go of any resistance. Slowly making your way back into this space. You might start by wiggling the fingers or toes, answering any stretches that your body needs. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. The sanctuary was founded on prayer. We have many opportunities for you to submit prayers, both online and in a box in this room and in the entryway. I will stay up here at the end of service and be available to you if you need someone to pray with you. Thank you.
The prayer for today, when Jacob and I first started talking about today, was something I found. It's called What is Transgender by Lenore Lux. I think sometimes about what it means to be transgender. I probe and probe for answers because as the possibility for a new age of enlightenment and safety increases, the others want to know. I've come up with many answers, but I can hold to none. I don't deserve to paint the definition of a culture with the limited experiences I've had. I don't see myself in the transgender identified people allowed on television. I don't see myself in the transgendered identified people making news feeds and giving high-profile interviews. And as my nation's exposure to our culture increases, likely will the curiosity. Am I transgender? Do I have the right? I've heard doctors, psychiatrists may refuse transgender patients access to hormone therapy based on how dedicated or convincing their portrayal of their identified gender. If you want to be a man or woman, you'll have to look like the women and men on TV. If you want to be transgender, you'll have to look like the trans-identified people on TV. Every single one of us who has an active role as either participant or observer in our society is prey to the crisis of validity. Am I pretty enough? Am I strong enough? Am I brave enough, mom enough, dad enough, competitive enough, successful enough, rich enough? Enough. It never ends. We're, as a nation of people, being crushed and compartmentalized by this ever-present lens looming over us, exploiting our weaknesses and fears so it may grow wider and support itself as it follows us. seemingly forever into the future. And one of the worst fears this camera of existential torment exploits in most of us every day is, do I have a reflection? What does it look like? Do I look like me? What does it mean to be transgender? I can't get away from that question, but I don't have an answer. There are varying degrees of anguish, depression, panic, anxiety, and other wonderful emotional states that creep up on you and breathe down your neck nearly every waking day. Absolute contempt for the lie of a life you've lived till now, and contempt for the fragment still stuck to you in memories attached to your body and mind. Fear of those in your own community who would purposely humiliate, invalidate, or attack you, choosing their own universal moral code over the innate urge and capacity to support the health and continued well-being of another human. Neighbor, pupil, employee, sister, brother, son, daughter, mother, father, cousin, blood. What is being transgender like? By my experiences, it's just like being anyone else in the country, but with a lot more fear, death, exclusion, and medication.
Hi, thank you all for being here today with me as I talk. I've never done this before, so yep, I'm probably going to be shaky and all that and sweaty for sure, but you know, I have something for that, thankfully. So put that, I don't know, I'll hold it. So yes, thank you all for being here with me today as I talk. It truly means a lot to me to be up here and have this opportunity to talk to you all. My friends, new and old, and people I've never met before. My name is Jacob Wolf, and I've been going to the sanctuary, also the church within, for a little over 2 years now. After wanting to be in community with folks in a real way where we truly show up for each other, our neighbors. I wasn't here for about 5 or so months because me and my partner were experiencing houselessness due to our living situation not being safe. We are both immunocompromised and don't want to get sick or pass it on or pass COVID on to anyone else. So that's why I'm asking. Can you? Oh, yeah, I will. Thank you, for sure. All right. I'm going to be talking about some incredibly sensitive topics today, like suicide, overdose, and death. So I just wanted you all to know that now, especially if you haven't heard my story before. You see, I'm a transgender man, a Filipino-American transgender man, born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana in the year 1994, so I'm a 90s kid and I'm a Hoosier. I just recently celebrated my 31st birthday, and if you would have told me nearly 13 years ago that I would have learned what love truly is versus what it's not, then I probably would have laughed. But it's true. But it's true. And I see it everywhere I go because I have learned that I'm not alone. I personally understand what it's like to be in a church and have religious trauma, but still show up anyways because in my heart, I know that God is with me everywhere I go. And churches are meant to be sanctuaries for folks who need community. Well, you can't have a community without the T. I had never been to church before where people intentionally took time once we were already seated to then go back out and greet people, but it's really sweet that we do that here. Especially the closing song at the end, where everyone holds hands and holds everyone kind of accountable in a way to go out there in the world and show up better for others and for ourselves with more compassion. This right here is the trans pride flag. It was created by Monica Helms, a transgender woman who also builds rockets and remote control cars. Right? I thought that was cool. I first saw trans kids and queer kids wear their flag as a cape at Pride in like 2018, and I've worn this flag to multiple anti-trans bill hearings. Huh? Oh yeah, cool. Thank you. I've worn this flag to multiple anti-trans bill hearings and rallies. It was in these spaces where we were told to guard our hearts, and I did. Because some people don't want it to beat anymore and are actively and purposely passing legislation right now against our lives. I have a brooch that holds it all together. It's the leaf brooch from the Lord of the Rings, the one that Galadriel gave to the members of the Fellowship of the Ring. I love Lord of the Rings. Right now, from November 13th to the 19th, we celebrate Transgender Awareness Week, where trans folks and our allies bring attention to the trans community by educating the public about our real lived experiences and how we can all show up for the trans community by hearing our stories and stand with us, like the folks who gave their testimony and packed the room to oppose the BMV ID ban on gender marker changes this past Friday, or simply you all being here today. The day after that is Transgender Day of Remembrance, also known as International Transgender Day of Remembrance, which I didn't know before this, but I'm happy it's recognized internationally because trans folks are ancient beings, and we have always and we will always be here. Have always been and will always be here, yeah. TDOR started on November 20th, 1999 by Gwendolyn Ann Smith, an American trans woman from San Francisco, to honor Rita Hester, an African-American trans woman who was stabbed over 20 times in her home in Boston, Massachusetts, just 2 days shy of her 35th birthday, the year before. Let us take a breath for Rita. And another breath for all of the trans and gender diverse folks who aren't here anymore. TDOR is a day dedicated to honoring the trans folks who came before us, whose lives were cut short due to violent acts against our existence, discrimination for them simply being alive. It's a day dedicated for all of us to hold space for trans folks and celebrate their life, to see them in their fight to simply live, love, and be loved for who they truly are. To be in community with folks who are real and care about each other, who want to help make the world a more genuinely loving and connected place, a place where we all look out for each other, comfort those who are grieving, help those who are hungry, and stand with those who are oppressed. I want to make it clear to anybody who does not really understand what's going on with the bills against trans youth. They do not want trans kids to grow up and be alive to become trans adults. I wanted to do some research and give folks some stats on how many trans folks there are out here in the world right now that we know of. We make up about 1% of the global population, at about 70 to 140 million people. So that's 69.9 and 139.9 million more folks than I ever thought growing up, because I didn't know that there was anyone else out there like me. I want to share with you all a little bit about myself. Whenever I'm asked about how long I've been out, I tell people that I've been out since I've been out. Haha. But for real though, with my personal experience, because every human being in the universe has a different lived experience than one another, there's just not that many of us, I've always known since I can remember. This is me when I was little. Yeah. I actually get asked that question a lot from folks. And they also ask me what it's like to be a trans person in the United States of America in 2025. Whew. And I'll be real. It is so hard to live life and be who you truly are when the world tells you that you must be a certain way for you to be worthy of love, life, food, shelter, care, and respect. It gets old fast, and it weighs so heavily on so many of our hearts because we are so much more than the tiny box that people put us in, where a lot of people assume that because we're trans, that means that we automatically hate ourselves and our bodies, and that by us living our lives where people can see us, some folks believe that we shouldn't be here. It's a lot. What I believe we are doing is simply making that choice to live. Every day we wake up and breathe, we choose to show up and help make the world a more loving and fun place because we know what it's like to feel the weight of people's judgments and cruelty. I was told to share my story and the challenges that I faced and still do. And also spiritually, what is different with me now versus before my transition. I grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist household, so there's this Bible verse that's been with me for years, and thankfully, I was able to share it with my God-fearing Seventh-day Adventist grandma, who was an elder at her church, and who used to tell me that I needed to pray to God so he would change me or I was going to hell. We went through so much together. She passed a month before my 24th birthday, and we had those hard conversations that were so necessary, and I wholeheartedly appreciate them. The verse comes from the New International Version of the Bible. It says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, 'Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.'" One of my earliest school memories, because I went to the private Christian school behind the church, is being kicked out of the girls' bathroom when I was in the first grade because no boys allowed. So I went to the boys' bathroom and was kicked out of there as well. So I ran to the stairs that led to the art room in the library, and I cried because I had to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't, right? So I held it, and I continued to at school for the rest of my school life. Through it all, and even more now, that fire in my heart that keeps telling me to keep going burns brightly, because by showing up here with you all today, that means that you all can take time to hear about some trans folks who came before us and honor them by being in community with others. Possibly people you've never met before or someone you haven't seen in a while. I just don't ever want anybody to doubt their impact on people and what they all bring to the table when it comes to being in community with others. How important it is, how powerful it is, how needed it is for people to be real with each other so that we can all carry the weight. I know it's heavy, but it sure does help to have other people see what's going on and care and don't turn and run away. If you all want to take a breath, that's okay, because this is about to get kind of deep. I was wrestling on if I should share my suicide attempt story that happened 5 days after my 19th birthday. It's such an incredibly personal thing to go through. The more I thought that maybe no one would want to hear it, the more I started to get this tightness in my chest where my soul is. I prayed on it, and a lot of stuff came out of it, like feeling like maybe my story wasn't worth sharing. I'm not a pastor, and I didn't go to seminary school or anything, but I went to church last Sunday, and Danielle asked me if I had read the opening because it was updated since the last time I'd seen it. When I got home, I saw that she wrote more, and there was this line in there about how we breathe together to arrive in this moment and allow soul to catch up with body. I laughed. I laughed because I don't know if anyone has ever heard the song Soulmate's Body by Death Cab for Cutie, but it's amazing. And it's also the song that I heard play right before I lost my ability to speak when I overdosed. The doctors came into my room to tell my mom that there was nothing more that they could do for me. That place was where, hold on. The doctor came in to tell me there's nothing they could do. And it was in that place where I couldn't speak anymore, where I was like, okay, God, I want to go now. Please let me go. And I was just praying, and I was just praying to go, and it was ugly. And I started to experience what felt like my soul was leaving my body. And then it would come back, and the heart monitor would be going off, and the nurses kept shaking me to wake up and telling me they were going to put me on a ventilator. I remember that last plea, how I felt and how much I believed that I wanted to go, because I felt like God didn't love me, that I let God down by me being me. How sorry I was that I couldn't change how I was, like my grandma said I had to, or else I was going to hell. And then also on top of that, being a burden to my loved ones in a multitude of ways. I felt my soul leave further, and then suddenly, it was like being hit by a train when it came back into my body. It felt like I was being consumed by love, and all the pain I'd ever felt in my life, it was gone. I didn't hear a voice like James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman. Yeah, I know, right? I did, though. I heard the voice, and it was soft and so calm. It was like my voice, but I would have never imagined saying anything like that to myself. To myself. It said, "Hey, buddy, I know everything you've been through, and I want you to know that you are loved. You are not a mistake. You are not a burden. You know how you've been and how you've hurt other people because you are hurt, and that is not okay. That is going to get you to go to hell, so you need to change your ways. There are people out there who are going to love you for who you truly are. It's not your time yet. You still have stuff to do, so keep going and know that you are not alone. Don't give up. I love you." I just laid there, and my mom came back in the room, and my heart and vitals got better, so they took me up to ICU, where I was for a couple of days before I went to a behavioral center for a week. It was there that for the first time, the doctors called me by my name instead of the one given to me at birth. So, this really big thing just happened to me, and I didn't really know how to process it. It made me feel survivor's guilt really bad because so many others didn't get that chance. My first tattoo that I got on my arm, or ever, it's a rose tattoo. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I put it that way so everybody could see it. It's a thank you to everyone who is kind to me, like the people who do my blood work, and now all of you. Because everyone deserves their flowers while they're here. It's a memorial for someone so important to me named Amber Regis, who taught me that hope is the best music for grief. It kind of covers my scars, but not completely, because my grandma helped heal them. She took me to a park when I was in 7th grade and kissed my wounds and told me that she didn't understand me and why I did it, but she loves me and she's here for me. and then she helped me bandage them. Years later, after I dropped out of high school because of bullying and got my GED, my grandma randomly called me one day out of the blue and was like, grab a pen and paper because I'm about to blow your mind. She said it exactly like that. I was like, she told me that she had just met someone who is intersex. And she learned so much from them, like how there are over 30 different variations of intersex people. She told me that trans people are real and that I'm not alone. She was apologizing profusely because of how the church had raised her, and she told me that she loves me. From then on, she called me my name, or at least tried to, even when she got dementia. She forgot my name sometimes, but then she started calling me her loving person until the very end. I wear that name with honor. I hear the names of the ones who are from different parts of the world, who are recognized by their loved ones, and for those who are denied their name they chose for themselves. We need to learn how to love people for who they truly are and not this idea of who we think someone else should be. Because when you love people and can see them, it helps you see more of yourself too. For a lot of people, they don't know how to see themselves in others or see others. There's something that gets in the way. But if you have people in your life who care and want to show up for you, then they will. Life takes you on a wild journey to get to where you are. You meet different parts of yourself and others, but it all leads back to you and ultimately back to love. We see the realness in connection versus the facade that they show you on TV and at some churches where instead of preaching about what Jesus did, they use his word as a weapon to justify oppressing people, using his name in vain versus putting their heart and souls into helping communities, getting their hands dirty, and actually meeting with the people. I've spent years surviving without much of a community, so I reached out and searched for it because my grandma was about to die, and she was the only person I had in my life who I could really talk to God about. She would also pray with and for me. So when she did die in 2018, I knew I wanted to meet other queer, trans folks who believe in God too. So I kept showing up. I found myself in spaces where I'd been longing to be my whole life, going to bill hearings and rallies, being featured on WRTV's news segment with Nico Panisi for Trans Day of Visibility in 2023, where I talked about how important it is for people who make the laws that they give us a seat at the table. And for folks who are around trans kids, speak life into them. I got connected with folks who are like me, and what was that group talking about? Religious trauma. Yeah. And also we were talking about how we've always been here. So my friend recommended the church, and I've been coming here ever since. I don't know if anybody here remembers, but we had a Spirit Week event called Nourishing Words in 2023. It was with local poets and also the author of Black Liturgies, Cole Arthur Riley. At that event, we were given our own page to write down whatever it is we wanted the world to know, because it was going to be made into a book. That night was significantly impactful for me because I met folks from the Philippine Cultural Community Center. From there, I was invited to a mutual aid event at Ujamaa Community Bookstore, and I met some more amazing folks in the community, like Circle City Mutual Aid, who is out for Sunday Share in front of Central Library downtown every Sunday, rain, snow, or shine, from 4 to 6. They pass out first aid, hygiene, sex and safe use kits, clothes, gloves, hats. In the past, folks have donated mobility aids and to help folks, all while another group called Food Not Bombs Indy is there, serving up hot homemade food to anybody who is hungry and wants something to eat. I volunteered with CCMA since February 2024, but when life took a crazy turn this past February, they reached out with helping us get our footing those first few days to figure out what we were going to do. And Food Not Bombs helped us with food. We are both eternally grateful for everyone, everywhere, who was there for us and supported us during that time. So if anyone here is interested in getting into in helping the community, check out Sunday Share in front of Central Library downtown from 4 to 6. They also do kit packings, which I put stuff around the table and printed those off. So if anyone's interested in like making, like, you know, you see people on the side of the road, if you want to like help make out like a pack or something, like you can just pass that on to somebody, you know. And you can also be in community with people too. Like there's like a bunch of stuff on there. Maybe we could do that stuff here too. That'd be fun. And also Ujamaa, there's a book club as well, which is really cool and I love it. So get active in the community. I couldn't find the original page that I had. I was trying to look for it. But I remember that it was written in blue because that's my favorite color. And it made me laugh because it looked like a scroll. Hear ye, ha ha. This is my poem called Here I Am, Alive, by Jacob Wolf. Battle scars cover my sacred trans-Filipino American body. Grateful for the ones who came before me and will be here after, for my grandmother's bones who made my mother's bones who made me. Grateful to have made it through everything that I went through to get here today. My heart is wide open and I'm as soft as ever in a world that has done its best to harden and break me. Nights spent praying and crying in the dark. Those tears quenched the thirst within my soul. Here I am, alive. Everything it ever took me to get here was worth it, to let you all know that your love for who you truly are. I know that I don't personally know what a lot of you are going through, but I hope that you all find the strength and courage to get through everything you go through. My hope is that trans kids and adults and everyone out there hold on to what you all love, meet people who will show up for you, and you build strong communities with them. I'm thankful to everyone who took their time to be here and listen. I hope that we can all go out there and show up better for each other. And hey, while we're at it, I hope we all have so much fun while we're here, because we're all alive. So my friends, let's go show up in what love truly is. Thank you.
Strangers stare and they want to be the first to ask for my life in one word. But It's not that simple. Why do you care to know? Am I a boy or a girl? But I don't care about the answers, no. The questions were boring. Please tell me a story. What did your mom say? What is your real name? How about those drugs that you take? And how does your voice change? How come you don't feel ashamed? What kind of love do you make? But you don't care about my answers, no. Your questions ignore me. Let me tell you a story. Well, all right. Ask me anything you want to, and I will tell you the truth. My grandma's my best friend, and this is who I am. All of it adds up to keep me sane. Yes, I've dropped octaves, 'cause I'm a mountain range, and any kind of love is good enough to be made. I don't care about the answers, no. The questions were boring. Please tell me a story.
As the ushers get ready for offering, we'll do our offering prayer. Beloved divine, all that I am and all that I have
Comes from your limitless supply. I am an open and willing conduit through which your good flows. I share all that I have as you direct. Love, friendship, prosperity, peace, abundance, and joy are gifts that I share and receive. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God.
Beloved divine, as we walk out of this building today and into our week, let us remember the gift that you gave us today in Jacob's message. Help us to remember to be kind and be in community and show love to those that aren't like us. Watch over us this week. Help us to make the good good decisions, even if they are the hard decisions. Amen. If you will stand and join me in the closing song and prayer.
All people are holy, many paths, one God. All people are holy, only love is real. No matter who you are, no matter where you've been, let's gather together and let the Spirit in. All people are holy, many paths, one God. All bodies are holy, only love is real. Only love is real.
May the peace of God go before us into this glorious week, and may the peace remain wherever we have walked.
Peace above us and below us. Peace to the right and to the left. Peace within and without. Peace in the face of everyone we meet. Peace in the words to everyone we greet. Amen.
Hey, hello. As a quick announcement, again, please return the key to the key box or come get your phone.